Hello Constellation, welcome to Starchaeology Tarot. I am Desi, this is my channel, and I am so grateful that you are here. I just want to start by saying if you're hoping to receive blessings from this reading, start by giving a blessing. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel right now. Give the abundance you wish to receive, an ultimate lesson from the universe. With that, I want to jump right in. Today we're going to look at when it will happen for you. You know in your heart what it is. This is pile 1, this is pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Which pile calls to you? It could be more than one, and you can listen to both of those readings. It could be all 4. If it's all 4, you can listen through the entire video and receive messages from all of them. Take a moment now and see which pile calls to you, and then use the timestamps below to jump to the reading of your choice. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your timing reading. We're looking into when it will happen for you. Please focus your intention on that question, on whatever it means for you as we call in your guides, call in spirit, call in your angels. What are the messages for pile 1? Please give us some information for pile 1 about when this will happen. Okay. Both upside down, reversed. So we have the 6 of Cups in reverse, wow, and the Emperor in reverse. Okay, wow, whenever this is going to happen for you, pile 1, first of all, our first clue rather, is that it will happen when you stop living in the past and forgive something. There's a kind of lacking of playfulness in your life right now, at least about this, regarding this topic at hand, a very intense seriousness that you might think is indicative of how much you value this issue and how much you want it to change, but it actually is part of the block. It's part of what's blocking it from happening. It would be great, it would be wise to actually inject a kind of playfulness in your approach to this thing. And playfulness, I think, includes forgiveness. When we think about children, typically children don't hold grudges. You know, grudges are something that happen much more frequently as adults. We have a hard time letting go. I think a harder time letting go of things as adults once our brains are fully cooked, and our conditioning is fully baked in and settled. When we're children, we're still malleable, and there's so much room for forgiveness and growth and allowing other people to change, allowing ourselves to change too. It's such a time of discovery. So the irony here is that there's a kind of living in the past, but it's not far enough back. It's not a past version of yourself where you were a child and you did have this kind of expansive worldview. Rather, it's a kind of over-attachment to a single defining moment for you. And that may be something that's blocking you right now. Or for others of you, the thing that you are hoping will happen has something to do with something that happened in the past that is keeping you in the past, and that revolves around forgiveness. To be paired with the Emperor, for the Emperor to come out here too, that suggests that we have a kind of bastardization of divine male energy going on here as well. There's a kind of your relationship with authority, with structure, maybe with a father figure in your life is somewhat backwards. Either there was an excess of control or a complete lack of discipline. Maybe there's a complete lack of discipline or excess in control in your life right now, and that is part of the problem. It's all, what I'm hearing is almost like this is something that's crucial to heal in order for you to make whatever you want to happen, to actually see that manifest. Either way, the Emperor in reverse suggests a kind of inflexibility. And it's an inflexibility, a stubbornness, either in too much discipline or not enough discipline. And it might be regarding the way that you expect a past event to resolve. It may be about how you expect forgiveness to go regarding a past event. It may be about your views on playfulness, about the availability of living more playfully for you. Maybe that feels completely inaccessible and unavailable to you, and that's because you believe there are rules that you have to abide by, and if you don't, then it devalues something in your life, or it says something about you that you don't want it to say. Those are rules of your own making, and that's what we see with the Emperor in reverse is the bastardization of what authority, structure, rule following, lawfulness means. It shouldn't feel, when it crosses that line into restriction, into making you feel trapped, then it's not good anymore. It's not a good source. There is a world in which authority, in which establishment, structure, rules, there's a world in which all of those things actually can be liberating for us. They can offer us a stage on which we're free to play and experiment, and that we feel safe experimenting in these certain boundaries. The existence of those boundaries make us feel free to play, in other words. And then when we, advance to a certain point, we realize, okay, now these boundaries are too small. I need new rules. I need a new authority. I need a new structure in place of this. But for a specific time, that structure actually served a very helpful and healthy purpose. That's not what we're seeing with you right now, Pile 1. There's, again, this word bastardization keeps coming up for me with this card in reverse. There's a complete misunderstanding of your relationship with authority, whether it's the authority in you or it's the authority of someone else that you feel loyal to, and both of these cards have a great deal to do with letting whatever you want to happen. When will it happen? That is very much dependent on the resolution of these issues that are coming up so far. Let's get some more information. Spirit, what else does Pile 1 need to know? Okay, 2 cards came out. The Hermit in reverse and the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Wow, so much reversed energy right now for you, Pile 1. The Hermit in reverse. So the irony of this is you don't feel good even in this place, Of course you want it to change. Of course you're waiting for something to happen because you don't feel good where you are right now. The Hermit, when we see the Hermit upright, there's an element of strength in solitude, needing that time alone for introspection, for focusing and hearing that inner voice, inner guidance, soul searching. When we see this in reverse, it suggests that there's a sense of isolation, loneliness, or even withdrawal. That's not necessarily good for us. So there's something about this situation that is leading, that is making you feel more isolated than you need to be feeling. The 5 of Pentacles in reverse. This is really interesting too. There's, this could suggest that maybe what you're hoping for is a kind of recovery from a financial loss. I think for some of you, that's what the it is for you. It's a reversal of some kind of poverty, some kind of loss of physical property, of physical symbols of security, success, well-being, achievement, and so this is just an affirmation of that this is related to this for you. If that's not what it is for you, then this is just another clue that there's a kind of spiritual poverty that's happening along with this kind of intense isolation that you're experiencing. These rules and the serious approach to your attachment in the past is not serving your soul either. There's a lack in your spiritual world, your spiritual well-being, and you're kind of in a place where you're searching for this spiritual food and nourishment. And that is also on the other side of overcoming these issues. That is very much aligned. Spiritual nourishment is aligned with you getting what you want when that thing happens for you. Let's get a little more information. Spirit, please give us some more information. Ooh, wow. Oh my goodness. Can't get over how many of these are in reverse. So, inner child work, the sun. When will this happen for you? Such a good reminder of how manifestation works. Manifestation, the physical manifestation, always follows the feeling. It follows what we feel on the inside. Our outer world reflects our inner world. And this is such a good reminder of that, because this is like saying, see this card in reverse is like saying, the sun needs to shine inside you before you feel it on your skin. You need to feel it coming from your heart before you feel it coming from the sky. You feel an inner glow before you bask in the outer glow. And it's such a good reminder. What I'm seeing here for you, Pile 1, is that you have such a powerful light inside of you, and you're not using it. It's off right now. That's why we see the Hermit in reverse. That's why we see the Five of Pentacles in reverse. It's turned off. And only you have access to that switch. That's something that you have access to, regardless of what your conditions are on the outside. You can choose. You really can. You can choose to feel differently. You can choose to respond to your conditions differently. And you haven't had easy conditions. This is not saying like, just buck up and, be better. Like, I have incredible empathy for you, Pile 1, because whatever has put you in this position had to be something that was incredibly challenging. But with great challenge comes great opportunity. And this is one of those great opportunities to actually see how powerful you really are. Because if you're able to change how you're feeling in spite of your circumstances, in spite of your outer circumstances, that's when you have access to achieving real sustainable fulfillment and happiness. The longer you equate happiness and fulfillment with when that thing happens, the more you'll struggle. And this is a tricky reading, because it's like we're all, when we come to this reading, hoping for that thing to happen because we think, oh, that's when I'll be happy, or that's when I'll feel better. This is just a great reminder that says, choose to mind your feelings now. Do what you can to nourish the soul inside you, to nourish your spirit in a way that puts you in that mindset and heart set before the thing happens. Because that only will attract the thing sooner to you rather than later. And that's a big element for you in making that thing happen. It's also a big element for you in just being more spiritually liberated and less dependent on external circumstances to relieve you of pain, of grief, of challenge, of restriction, of this more restrictive mindset. You don't need for this to change. Of course it can, and I think it will, especially if you're able to take all of these messages and really implement what needs to be implemented in your life. But this is a good reminder that you are so much more powerful than you think you are, and there's a light that shines within you, and from your inner child too. So much about this is like healing this inner child, healing that inner child wound. And that really has the potential to liberate you. Any final words, Spirit? Anything else we need to know? Oh my God, pile one. Are you kidding me? Ace of Pentacles. There it is. That's when it will happen. All of this, what's on the other side of all of this is a brand new beginning. If you are experiencing some kind of financial loss again, there it is. There's the new money that comes in, the treasure that comes in, the treasure that you find, the value, the tangible value coming into your life. It's right on the other side of that, and it's completely possible for you. It's waiting there for you. It's on the other side of everything that we talked about here. So there is the encouragement and the hope you needed, that it is there for the taking, and that these challenges are not impossible to overcome. It's completely within your power and within the realm of possibility. I love you very much, Pile One. I'm rooting for you as always. Please like and subscribe and tell me what this reading meant to you. Tell me which parts were resonant and what spoke to you, and also what's going on in your life if you would like to open up and share. It means the world to me to hear from you. Hi, those of you who chose Pile 2. Welcome to your reading regarding when will it happen. I'm so curious. Please focus your intention on whatever it is for you. I'm going to call in spirit, call in source energy. I'm also calling in your guides. Calling in the guides of everyone who chose this pile, regardless of time, space, distance. The Fool. The Fool and the Eight of Pentacles. Wow, great start. When will it happen? A new beginning is going to happen after your hard work has paid off. Those of you, I think, have been working, for many of you listening here, you've been working very, very hard. Different interpretations for different members of the collective, but many of you have been working very, very hard with your head down, almost like not even really paying attention to the results, if that makes sense. Like you're not attached actually to the results. You're very focused on the task at hand, whatever is in your present moment. You've been very, very focused on that. And the apprentice finds their way to mastery almost. It almost is surprising, I think, to them at a certain point. It's not like they wake up one morning and go, oh, wow, I'm finally a master. It's like somehow in this mysterious process, they reach this point where they reflect and they're like, some point along the way here, I mastered this. I got what I'd been working towards this entire time. And it's not necessarily consciously realized in the moment because they were in the process of becoming and they were present in that process of becoming. So for many of you, that there's a beginning that's waiting on the other side of this. For others of you, this is really important. That new beginning, when it will happen, I think for many of you that it is some sort of leap of faith new beginning. It is Fool energy. It's a new chapter. It's a jumping off the cliff. It's a leap of faith. And it's also one that's full of optimism and light for you. There's so much childlike joy, optimism, hope, and faith that's wrapped up in this it for you, which is wonderful. This is exactly the energy we need to propel us into new beginnings in our lives, into new chapters. Otherwise, we just hold on to the past and we're unable to start anything new. Optimism is such a crucial ingredient in taking any leap of faith, taking any risk at any time. This does tell me that, though, there is risk involved in the it for you and the timing of it. When will you feel ready to take a risk yourself? That's when you'll reap the rewards of it. So when will it happen? It will happen when you take a step in the right direction. I think some of you may be very careful of your footing right now. You're like, I'm ready to jump, but or I want to jump, but I'm not ready to jump until I know exactly like what's going to be there to catch me. And that's just not how the Fool works. The Fool is about jumping before you look. It's jumping and assuming that is there, not actually even seeing any evidence that something will catch you, or that you'll be able to fly. So this is, for some of you, there's a message here that's like, don't try to cheat the system. Don't try to cheat the process, the concept and the process of faith. Because faith can't exist without a level of uncertainty. It only exists in the face of uncertainty. And that's true for when this will happen for you as well. For others of you, the message is really wrapped up in this Eight of Pentacles. This is about starting an Eight of Pentacles journey. So I think for others of you in the collective, if those two interpretations weren't resonant, there's another message here, which is you need to actually embark on a journey of apprenticeship. You need to take a leap into becoming a beginner at something again, starting the hard work and starting this long process, and understanding, like having reasonable expectations that this is a long process of hard work, but your commitment and devotion to it is part of the faith. Having faith that commitment and devotion will eventually pay off is what helps you make the commitment to it in the first place. For some of you, I'm hearing your guides are asking you to take a leap of faith into hard work, to take a leap of faith into a specific commitment, and really keep your head down, focus on it on a day-to-day basis, just what's right in front of you at your work table, without necessarily measuring how far you are along on this path to success, or being too preoccupied with the destination. The Eight of Pentacles, this worker, his eyes are down. It's so interesting. It's different. It's not like his eyes are on the prize. We don't even know what the prize is here. He is so focused on what's in his hands. There's a kind of presence there that is invaluable to this journey for you. And that's a big part for some of you about, or a big component in the answer of when this will happen. Let's pull some more cards. Spirit, what other messages do you have for us? When will this happen? When will this happen? 9 of Wands. So there's a kind of, oh, wow, yeah. So similar actually to the Eight of Wands in many ways. Hard work, but also finding yourself on the other side of great experience. It will happen when you're experienced enough, when you've gained the experiences you need in this chapter of your life in order to progress to the next chapter. And you don't want to, here's a situation where you don't want to cheat yourself of those experiences. It's so easy to be thinking, oh, it is the destination, it's all that is important. But there are things about the experience that you're having now as this well-seasoned warrior, the challenges that you're facing and overcoming, that may be actually crucial to your enjoyment of the next chapter, that may be crucial to your appreciation and your insight and your vision of the reward that you end up receiving and living. This is like saying, like, to skip the 9 to the 10, you miss a very crucial piece. You miss a piece that's crucial to actually knowing you're at the 10, having the awareness that you're at the 10, enjoying the 10, appreciating the 10. And you don't want to miss out on that, because otherwise it'll be that trope of experiencing some sort of success and it not fulfilling you in the way that you thought it was. I mean, that you thought it would. I mean, that's such a common trope we hear over and over again about the path of success for so many people. It's never about the thing. It's never about the it. When will it happen? It's about so much more than that. And that's a whole philosophical discussion I don't want to get into. But I think, let me know in the comments if you know and you get what I'm saying here. The it is a symbol, and it's so important that these other ingredients are a part of your journey to the acquiring of that symbol for you. Otherwise, it will fall flat. It will be thin. It won't deliver what you think it's going to deliver. This journey that you're on is so crucial to building the person that you want to be and the person that you are, honoring the person that you are and honoring where you've been. It's also, the nine of Wands also can represent courage, persistence, resilience. It's also often a test of faith. So much conversation about faith for you, pile 2. So much of the answer to this question, when will it happen, has to do with faith for you. And your faith may be being tested right now. Part of that test may be whether you choose to leap in the name of that faith. Please give us some more information, Spirit. What else do we have here for pile 2? Okay. It's a lot. Oh, that might be out. Okay, let's see here. So we got the 7 of Cups in reverse, the World in reverse, 2 of Cups in reverse. Oh my goodness, and the Star in reverse. And then the 7 of Pentacles. Wow. Another part of this is not being, you might be feeling overwhelmed by choices right now. A big part of making it happen is being aligned with your personal values and making sure the thing that you want and that you think you want is aligned with your personal values. This can show some kind of, well, no, this just really shows an importance in aligning with those personal values and letting that, using that as a tool to not be so overwhelmed by the choices in front of you. This also, I think, there's a message of faith there, because this is about having faith that your values will lead you to the right places. Using your values to determine the destination, as opposed to choosing the destination and then trying to cram your values into that destination, if that makes sense. The World in reverse is really interesting too here. There's some kind of along with this new beginning and this leap of faith, there's a need for personal closure, or seeking some sort of personal closure. And there's no shortcut to that. I think if some of you are feeling like you, I don't know, want to kind of take some sort of shortcut into personal closure, ending at the current chapter in order to start the new one. This is a kind of message that says, for some of you, there's really only one right way to do that. And that's also about following your values and your faith, because they align with whatever that right path is for you. Others of you, there's a delay in making this leap of faith, and that delay is actually keeping you from some sort of personal closure, which is just an added challenge. The delays might be coming from outer circumstances. This is a nice reminder that says, we don't have control over our circumstances. We can't necessarily control delays that are outside of ourselves. So you can start over anytime, pile 2. I know that it doesn't feel like you can. I know that it feels like you need to have the perfectly right conditions to allow you to start over, to start believing something new, to take a leap of faith on the inside. You don't. Personal closure, the thing about personal closure is it's personal. So you decide what gives you closure. And if we're waiting on something that is so wrapped up in external circumstances, you're kind of disempowering yourself in this situation. You're putting your power somewhere else, and then making this new beginning, this new chapter, this leap of faith dependent upon that. You have the power to choose that for yourself right now. You can define what personal closure means to you so that you can take this leap of faith, start something new, and make it happen. It will happen when you make it happen with that leap. Two of Cups in reverse here as well. This is interesting. Self-love is a big component of this hard work for you. Self-love, honoring yourself in this process, and not attaching so much with who you will become at the other end of it. Not when you're the master, but do you love who you are right now? Are you able to accept who you are right now? Are you able to love the apprentice? Because that's a big part, and maybe a big part of the personal closure that you're looking for as you're waiting for this new beginning to start. That's crucial. I'm also seeing a kind of for some of you other members of the collective, when we see Two of Cups in reverse, there's a kind of disharmony or distrust. That could be a discord, disharmony, distrust with yourself in this situation. Do you trust yourself? Do you trust the quality of your work? Do you trust your own level of commitment? Do you think you can be devoted to something? Do you have your own back in that? Do you believe in yourself? Or are you sabotaging yourself in some way? Are you telling yourself you're not capable of that? That kind of indicates a kind of self-distrust. This also could mean for others of you that there is something you need to break up from, whether that's a person, a relationship, or a thing, like something else that you've been devoted to, another commitment, in order to make space for this new commitment, this new devotion. And that's okay. There are times when a Two of Cups breakup, a separation, is important. Destruction needs to happen in order to make space for creation. This is kind of the end I'm seeing of a partnership of some sort. And again, it doesn't have to be between you and a literal business partner or you and a lover. It can literally be between you and it can be between you and your Spirit help me. Something that if there's like a pattern that you are. This is it. Perfect example. Are you in a relationship with worry? Are you in a relationship with anxiety? Is anxiety your partner in problem solving, in achievement, your path to success? Is it something you collaborate with a lot? Yeah, maybe that's a breakup that needs to happen. Wow, the Star in reverse and seeing that also just under the Nine of Wands here is really intriguing as well. So much of this pile too is about lack of faith. I can't say it enough. It's written all over this reading, and the Star in reverse just confirms it. This time of perseverance and resilience and courage to push through something when your faith is being tested. You can't have faith being tested unless there's doubt there, unless there is a lack of faith. This isn't some reflection on your, like some moral failing on your part. We all go through times of hopelessness. We all go through times of faithlessness. We all go through times of a lack of self-trust and disconnection and despair. This is, experience that says nothing about where you're going, when it will happen or if it will happen. It says nothing about it. It's what says something about that is how you respond in these moments of despair and faithlessness and hopelessness. How do you engage with it? Do you give it all your power? Or do you fight through it? Do you persevere? Are you resilient when you're being your own worst enemy? When you're tearing yourself down mentally and emotionally? This is what it is to be human. And if you're experiencing this and you're finding yourself stepping up to fight it, you're doing something right. This is an important journey, pile 2, for you to have. And what is on the other side of it is that thing happening for you. So interesting, a shift of power, the balance of giving and receiving. It needs to be shifted, especially when it comes to alignment with your personal values, so that you're not overwhelmed by too many options. If you are feeling overwhelmed, or if you feel like the possibilities are not aligned with your personal values right now, or where you're headed isn't aligned with your personal values, look at the relationship you have with people in more powerful positions, people in less powerful positions than you, whether that's a partner, a lover, a creative partner, a business partner, a mentor, an employee, a mentee. Look at the relationship of giving and receiving in your life. Is that out of balance? That doesn't mean that you have to give exactly what you receive, but it means that there needs to be an equilibrium in that. There needs to be a symbiosis in those relationships of giving and receiving. Even if you are on the receiving end and you only receive from someone, or you only give to someone, is there balance in that? I know that's like a complicated concept, but equality when it comes to power dynamics does not necessarily mean we each have the same amount of power. There are situations where we are meant to be in a place of only receiving from someone who has exactly what we need to give. And this person gets a lot out of giving it, and you get a lot out of receiving it. And there's balance in that. Interesting hint regarding when it will happen. And that, again, that somehow relates to overwhelm of choices and realignment of personal values with the paths that you are pursuing, or the one path that you're pursuing. So look into that too, because that could offer a great clue about how to overcome the challenges that you're feeling here, the lack of faith, the test of faith, the need for a leap of faith. See your relationship with other people, and also the power that they have over you and the power that you have over them, because that could be a crucial component here. This is such a juicy reading, pile 2. I want to hear exactly what this means for you, so please feel free to comment below and share. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm so grateful you're a part of the Starchaeology cluster here. It means so much to me. I'm rooting for you all as always. I love you very much, and I'll see you next time. Hi, pile 3. Welcome to your reading, looking into when it will happen. You know what it is. Please focus your attention on that. As I call in your guides, I call in spirit, source energy, your angels. We're looking for any clues, any bits of wisdom, any perspectives that will help us know when it will happen for pile 3. Okay, pile 3. Oh my goodness. So we got the devil right off the bat. Pile 3. Wow. It's going to help. It's going to happen for you, I think, when you deal with your shadow self. Certain attachments, certain addictions, restrictions, things, limiting beliefs. Limiting patterns that you are committed to that you don't need to be committed to because they keep you imprisoned. That is the big clue here. There is energy, liberation energy in your future. The potential for liberation is a big, big, big part of when it will happen for you. And who will be that person who liberates you? It can only be you. That's the thing, pile 3, is that if you're waiting for someone to save you from these, limiting beliefs, if you're looking for someone to make you accept your shadow or make your shadow go away, that's not going to happen. This is so much about self-acceptance and self-liberation, finding equilibrium within yourself and being able to move forward in a more sustainable way. I'm seeing a very all or nothing kind of thinking. I think maybe that some of you are suffering from pile 3. We see that with devil energy. Any kind of restrictive thinking. We see that for sure. Let's see what else came out here. Judgment. Wow, okay. Loaded, juicy. 5 of Pentacles, okay. And the 4 of Pentacles. A lot of Pentacles energy. Wow, and the Ace of Cups in reverse. Oh my goodness, yeah. So that devil is so much about liberating your heart. I see your heart as being the thing that's kind of in a prison for you right now. Pile 3. You know, it's like you want your cup to be filled. You're looking for love. You're looking for compassion or creativity, a source of creativity. You're looking for self-love. I'm seeing so much, like a restriction of self-love for you, a restriction of emotion, a repression of certain emotions. And it could be the emotions of your shadow self. It could be, you know, that you don't want to listen to the part of you that's afraid, or you don't want to accept the part of you that's human. Maybe there's a kind of addiction to perfectionism here, an attachment to a perfectionist way of thinking, behaving, acting, and that, ironically, you know, we think, oh, if I'm perfect, that thing will happen for us. Ironically, when we're in a kind of cycle like this, that kind of perfectionism can be the exact block that keeps us from reaching the thing that we want to reach. It's the thing that could be keeping that thing from happening at an arm's length at all times, no matter how many steps we take forward. It's also really hard because I'm seeing like there's a desire, like, well, once I'm just seeing like happiness and love being held at an arm's length as well. Like there's condition to that as opposed to unconditional love. That could be with you, it could be from someone else that you're feeling, but it's a big factor in this kind of the self-limiting beliefs that you're dealing with right now, and the feelings of being trapped or imprisoned, or stuck in a pattern that you know isn't good for you. Yeah, and then judgment here, that's really interesting too. So there needs to be some kind of judgment called about this. In other words, judgment is so much about being able to label things in our past appropriately. And when I say appropriately, I mean in a way that allows us to move forward as our best selves and to align with the best version of ourselves. Sometimes we make judgments that are very, very bad for our own self-growth and evolution, meaning they're unforgiving judgments. They are stubborn judgments. They're judgments that are very, adhere very strictly to a very strict, limited belief system. You know, like if this is true, then what else is true about my future? And we choose to engage in certain judgments, which means engaging in certain beliefs that keep us small moving forward. And in fact, oftentimes they don't actually even let us move forward, because a judgment about something in the past that continually makes us feel bad keeps us living in the past. It keeps us living in this devil energy. So much of this is about being able to label whatever is coming up in your shadow for you right now, in a way that empowers you and supports you moving forward. Now, that's not to like give yourself a freebie, like I could do no wrong, like I'm, whatever, you know what I'm saying. It's more about like having the kind of judgment that you give to a loved one and applying that to yourself. What's the kind of judgment that you give to the best person in your life? The person that you see that you're like, that's an amazing human being. And yes, they make mistakes. Yes, they struggle with things. What advice do you give them when you see them struggling in certain ways? And can you apply that same judgment on yourself? I'm also seeing like a real rebirth with judgment following this devil energy. So this is like saying when it will happen for you is when you free yourself from these patterns and you answer an inner calling that is one of absolution, forgiveness, rebirth. That's what we see with judgment. Five of Pentacles and Four of Pentacles, a real scarcity mindset is at play here. And Four of Pentacles, that could be because you've had certain successes that you don't want to let go of. You know, Four of Pentacles, you have stability. There's a kind of conserving of resources, there's a kind of sense of security and control, and power, you know? Four of Pentacles, we see someone who looks like a king, though he's not a king card, but he feels like a king because look at what he has gained. Look at what he saved up for himself, and he's worked very hard to achieve. The irony is the more that we gain sometimes, the more fear we have of losing what we gain. And that could be a big, crucial part of the negative thought cycles that you are stuck in right now. It's kind of like saying no matter how much you get, you still are going to be dealing with this root problem of focusing too much on losing it all or not having enough. And so even if you're waiting for it to happen, that it is not going to save you if no matter how much you get, no matter how big of a reward that it is for you, if this Five of Pentacles is at the root, if this Five of Pentacles isn't healed, this lack mindset, this poverty heart set, this isolation and worry, an inability to accept help from other people too. That's a big part of it, a kind of like pride, an inability to see sanctuary even when it's right next to you. There's like, or even when, when it's right there, when you have all the riches in the world and you're still focused on what you don't have or the possibility that you could lose it, etc., etc. That's a real sickness of the mind that I 100% deal with. I mean, so many people deal with this, and especially in modern day culture. It takes great focus and hard work to overcome a mindset like that. And it's a big part of making this happen for you in a way that will feel as good as you hope it will feel. Pile 2 had a little bit of this too. Give us some more cards, Spirit. What else? What else do we need to know about when it will happen? When will it happen? When will it happen? Okay. A few more cards than I wanted, but that's okay. Yeah, this is spot on. Six of Pentacles. Amazing to have the Four of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles. A big part of your journey right now is running through this Pentacle suit. I'm guessing a lot of you, the it for you is some sort of physical, tangible achievement, reward, sign of abundance, symbol of abundance, in an earthly sense. To see the Six of Pentacles here, which is so much about reevaluating the relationship between giving and receiving, the power dynamics associated with sharing wealth, receiving charity, generosity, and being on the receiving end of generosity. This, and related to judgment especially, wow, it's like, what do you give others in judgment that you aren't giving yourself? That's a big part of this, I think. Also, with a scarcity mindset, it's very hard to be in a place where you give, where you're able to give freely. And there's something that we get from giving. We get a lot out of that. It's not as simple as just being like, I'm losing the thing I'm giving away. We gain so much from giving as well. And that's why the relationship between giving and receiving is much more complex than just a simple, like, I'm giving the same thing that this person is giving. There's equality there. No. Sometimes you can be giving something that someone else is receiving. And there's equality in that relationship because you are getting something great out of the process of giving. And that person is receiving something that they need. So there's a symbiosis there. There's an equality there. Queen of Swords, we see someone who is has really transmuted past pain into wisdom. I'm sensing that that's what needs to happen with this devil energy and this blocking of self-love and repressing of emotions. You can unblock those emotions, unstop those emotions, so that they can actually have a chance to transform into wisdom for you. Right now, they're like stones that are weighing you down and keeping you small and keeping you trapped in fearful patterns that you think are for your own protection. But really, this is the material from which you craft wisdom. And wisdom isn't crafted from anything else. Like, pain is such an important ingredient to wisdom. So don't stunt that process. Allow that process to continue. When you do that, you might just have the wisdom needed in order to let that thing that you want to happen, or the knowledge of how to make that thing happen. Letting your past pain transmute itself into wisdom is a big component of this. It allows you to start over, to take a leap of faith, to take risks again. This kind of mindset doesn't let you start anything new. It doesn't let you take risks. It doesn't let you take leaps of faith. It doesn't let you begin new chapters. So this is a big part of that. And the Knight of Cups. I mean, what a beautiful message. So much about refocusing on the power of imagination, creativity, beauty, charm. Like these things that maybe don't translate to obvious wealth or value in society. You know, it's not seen as productivity to be creative, sadly, or to be focused on, to have an eye for beauty, or to have a rich imagination. That's not something we value in really, like, in monetary ways, unless you're, you know, an absolute famous person and you've been able to kind of buck a very bureaucratic system. But this is like saying focus less on the symbols outside of yourself and more on the richness that's within you and within others as well, because that might be a gateway to making what you want to happen and making that happen sooner. I would love to hear how this looks specifically for you, pile 3 in your life. So please comment below, open up and share with me. I am rooting for you as always. I love you very much. Thanks for joining me for this reading, and I'll see you next time. Hi, pile 4. This is your reading. Welcome. Your reading regarding when will it happen. So please, whatever it is for you, focus on that right now. Hold it in your heart. Hold your intention in your heart and mind as well. And let's take a moment to call in source energy, call in spirit, as well as your guides. I'm looking for the guides, calling in the guides of everyone in the constellation here, the star cluster of pile 4. Calling in their angels as well. Angels, guides. Please shine any lights on when this might happen, what conditions, what circumstances this will happen, need to happen in order for this to happen. Any clues that will help unblock the path towards it happening. Temperance in reverse. Oh, wow. Right now, for you, I think pile 4, there's some sort of imbalance in your life, whether it's excess or it's not enough of something. And there's a need for self-healing and realignment, but also a kind of, part of that self-healing is what temperance is upright. You know, balance, moderation. There's a need for patience here, ironically. to be asking about when something will happen, and you know, needing some patience during that process. This could also be saying that for some of you, some members of the constellation, this is a bit strange, but self-healing and realignment actually will happen for you when you are thrown out of balance. So if you don't find yourself in a state of imbalance right now, if that wasn't resonant, other members of the constellation, this is like saying, when will it happen? It will happen when you're actually thrown off your game. It'll happen when you actually lose your balance, when you are in a state of excess or a state of lack. And it's interesting because I think we get very attached to this idea that things have to be perfect in order for things to happen, and oftentimes it doesn't happen that way. Something happens at a very inconvenient time, and in fact, it's sometimes the imbalance of something that allows something to happen in the way that it happens. So it's almost like a break in the status quo, and I think for some of you, pile 4. When will it happen? It will happen when that routine is broken, when there is some kind of balance that's broken, when there is a status quo that's challenged. Maybe let's see if we could get more information about that. Yeah, Ace of Discs, upright. Yeah, some status quo that is challenged, some balance that's broken that results in a new physical opportunity for you. It's weird to think that I think sometimes we think about like we associate imbalance with being negative for some reason. It is what it is. There's balance and there's imbalance. In the vein of temperance, it's like, yeah, it's accepting the duality of these opposite things. One of them isn't necessarily good and the other evil. There is even a time for imbalance, for excess, for lack. And Ace of Discs, Ace of Pentacles, this is like a new financial opportunity, some sort of new form of abundance coming into your life, the manifestation of something. It will manifest in that state of imbalance for some reason. That's so interesting. Give us more information, please. Oh, I love it. This is one of the special cards in this deck, not a typical tarot card, the Gratitude. Being in reverse. Being in reverse, that tells me that another big part of this for you is you feeling undeserving of love, support, appreciation. Maybe you feel like you need to prove that you're worthy of this new opportunity, or you're worthy of this thing manifesting, worthy of this abundance. This is such a big part of putting yourself in a state of receivership, of being open to receiving the thing that you're asking for. And it has to do with feeling like you deserve it. If what you're saying is, I want this thing to happen, but I don't actually believe I deserve it. That's active. That's an energy that's actively blocking you from receiving the thing and from making it happen. This denotes a kind of conditional love, or maybe a selfish love. It's the self in isolation. It's a disconnection from the rest of the world. It's the assumption that maybe your true self won't be accepted by you or others unless you are operating under certain conditions. And certain, it's conditional. It's not unconditional. It's so important because if you identify, if these feelings are resonating with you, Pile 4, this could be such a huge part in making the thing you want to happen. This is such a powerful, potent block. And if that is resonant with you, it's likely that you have these assumptions you've made, and you've made them in bad faith. There's something that happened with either someone else or with yourself that made you believe you aren't worthy, or you aren't enough, or you're undeserving of something here, whether it's love, it's this bigger picture, it's acceptance, or it's this actual thing happening, or both. I think if you want something good to happen to you, of course if you believe that can happen for you, it's because you likely believe that you're worthy. You believe that you're deserving of love, that you're a lovable person. Good things happen to lovable people, I think, is a common belief that we have. So that's a big clue of something to look into. 4 of Wands in reverse. Yeah, that's interesting too. I'm seeing a kind of like breakdown in communication, a breakdown in security or stability, whether that's like home life, marriage, community, or just something in a desire that you have. This is Wands energy, it's this fire energy, so maybe it's just a kind of breakdown in like you communicating your desires in a certain way, or security, stability in your desires, or in the path towards achieving your desires. That's really interesting, and I think that's very much related to this gratitude in reverse. Give us some more clues, please. 2 of Discs in reverse, 2 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, also under Temperance, that's no surprise. So 2 of Pentacles in reverse. Overcommitment, disorganized, and need to reprioritize things. That is a big component to this imbalance. Whether you're already imbalanced, it's because you're overcommitted and it's causing disorganization, and also you're prioritizing the wrong things. So that needs to shift in order to bring this thing into your life. If you don't feel that imbalance now, and you're actually waiting for a kind of imbalance to manifest, to bring you the strange conditions under which this can happen, then a big key to that is also reprioritization. Maybe there's a reprioritization that needs to happen that's actually going to make you feel off kilter. You could be preserving the priorities that you are preserving right now because they make you feel balanced for some reason. There's a security in that. And that's not the reason to prioritize what you prioritize. You should prioritize what you prioritize because they're valuable to you, because they align with your values, not because it makes you feel balanced. The truth is, sometimes the things that we prioritize make us, the truth is that sometimes when we prioritize what's actually important to us and we are true to our values, it throws us into a state of intense imbalance. It can be incredibly destabilizing because we're often in situations that challenge our values. And preserving the status quo of that situation would be easier. It would be easier to preserve that balance. But we have to actually make ourselves unbalanced in order to be true to what we say we value. So that's also something at play here, and that's a big part of bringing this thing into the 3D, manifesting whatever this thing is that you're trying to manifest. When will it happen? It will happen when you're able to reprioritize based on your values, not on your sense of safety. Give us some more, please. Just give us some more. Spirit. Okay, that did fly out. 5 of Cups. Okay, 5 of Cups. Yes. So interesting. What about you, pile 4? Are you regretting or grieving? Is there something that you lost recently that's keeping you from turning around and seeing the opportunities waiting for you behind you? There's a kind of focus on regret, failure, loss here. associated with a new beginning. That's really interesting. That's something to get very honest with yourself about. Is there any part of receiving a new opportunity, receiving a new beginning, that kind of means that something else is over, and it really makes that thing over sink in for you? It really kind of drives that home in a way that makes you focus on the loss of that, the loss of the chapter that's ending. That might make you be resisting the new beginning and the new opportunity. This is how beginnings often are for us. With every beginning, there always is an ending. And we need to have a healthy relationship with the ending, and a healthy relationship with grief, even if it's grieving something that we don't want. Because again, it still could be something that made us feel secure or safe, that we were comfortable in, that was very familiar to us, that had a balance that we've gotten used to. And even if it's something that wasn't aligned with our values, it is worth grieving. It's worth treating it as a loss, so that we're able to welcome in the new. Otherwise, we really resist new change, new positive change, in a way that keeps us very static and paralyzed. Any other messages, Spirit, about when this will happen? The Empress. Oof. So much about this self-love, this worthiness, this self-support and feelings of deserving have to do with mothering. I don't know if it's about your relationship with your mother, pile 4, or this is just about you mothering yourself. So interesting. So much of this card, we talked about unconditional love versus conditional love, unconditional acceptance versus conditional acceptance. The mother is the symbol of unconditional love and acceptance. There's no figure that represents this and embodies this better than a mother with a child. You know, a mother could give birth to a murderer and she will still love that child because that murderer is still her baby. That's a very extreme example, but it really is, it really clearly illustrates the kind of love. If you take that down a notch, you turn down the stakes and the drama, it illustrates the kind of self-love and compassion that we need to practice, the kinds of feelings of acceptance that we need to have towards ourselves, and how freeing that can be when we actually do that. When we feel safe, when we have a safe parent, just think about this metaphor. When we have a safe parent who makes us feel like everything we do, there's nothing we can do that will make them not love us. Not necessarily like there's not mistakes we can make. We make mistakes. But if our parents will love us and teach us in spite of those mistakes and accept us when we make mistakes, but, you know, still strive to teach us better, that's the perfect balance. That's when we really can freely explore and expand ourselves. This is about emotional safety. Emotional safety so that things can grow to a level of abundance. Opening ourselves to vulnerability, accepting ourselves and others, and then trusting that peace comes from what grows from that. So this is so much about stepping into this place of worthiness in yourself. I also am just relating this to the other cards in this reading, like, I think part of this is like accepting what your values are. You know, you can't help but value what it is that you value. And that's an important thing to accept as well. Accept what is important to you. Support yourself in those things. Don't say this is what's important to me, and then not prioritize that thing that you know is important to you. Because that's the message you send yourself in that case is, I'm not worthy of getting what is important to me. or what's important to me is actually not important in the grand scheme of things. You know, like my own sense of importance and needs are small compared to the priorities the things I prioritize over those things. One last card, Spirit. Thank you. Wow. 8 of Wands. Kind of came out on the side. It's interesting. I feel like I gotta interpret this a few different ways. This is like saying that okay. I never do this. I really am leaving this on the side. It's just like intuitively coming to me. The message here is that there is change that is happening. There's good news coming to you. That's inevitable. The more that you struggle with these challenges that we dealt with, the more you will delay the good news coming. This kind of goes without saying, really, I think, for all of these readings, because I'm like, yeah, when will it happen? It will happen when you facilitate these certain conditions. But for you, Pile 4, it's even more so. You will find yourself in deeper wells of frustration and delay if you continue prioritizing the wrong things to prioritize. And if you don't know what I'm talking about there, then that message might not be for you. It might be the other things. I think for those of you who know that there's something that needs your prioritization that you're not prioritizing, and other things that are not yours to prioritize, you know what those are. You know what those are. And that is directly impeding the speed and action and swiftness of this quick positive change. It's almost like this archer is just waiting for your signal to send those arrows to the sky, to send those wands into the sky and make this positive change happen for your life in a very quick, effortless way. This really starts with you changing how you're feeling about this, and looking at your relationship with safety, what makes you feel safe. If grief is a part of that, if the focus on failure or loss is a part of that, if there's things about the last chapter you need to mourn in order to welcome in the new one. A lot of different issues at play here, but I think that hopefully there was a message in here that makes it very clear what conditions need to change for you in order to make that 8 of Wands come swooping into your life. Thank you so much, Pile 4. I hope this was helpful. Please leave a comment below. Tell me what's going on in your life if you feel called to. I love to hear from you. I love to hear the personal specifics of how these messages translate into your day-to-day life. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. Your support means everything to me. I want to be doing more and more of these readings as much as possible, really, and I can't do that without your support. I love you very much. I'm rooting for you as always, and I will see you next time.